Good evening. This is Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for December 6, 2022. Here's my background. We'll start tonight with the sniper trade of the day right from the opening. We start right from the opening with the opening 3-minute bar. It opens the second bar, then breaks down through the low of the first 3-minute bar that gives us the OR3 entry. Short. Here's our standard risk box from the minimum manageable risk box. Right from the get-go, it moves in our favor. At this congestion, you should already have your stop here adjusted down to the no lose plus dinner for two so that you have locked in this little wedge of a gain. When it resumes, we take a second entry at 2R in hand with momentum. As soon as you can, right about in here, you should be moving your stop to here to lock in a no lose plus dinner for two on the second position. You get an orderly move, begins to stall. You could get out here at a 1, 2, 3 exit and be happy. We waited for the R10 to reverse, cross over the baby dragon, took the exit at the edge of the dragon, and on 1 unit of risk, we took about 1, 2, 3, 3R on the first position, and about 1.5 on the second position. So we're about 4.5R on the first series. On a resumption of the downward move, when the R10 rolls over, it doesn't even get to the PSAR. We re-enter as it leaves the dragon, standard risk box, but it reverses quickly and we scratch that trade. Routine work. This is now after a failure to fail further. It did not fail further. We get a double bottom. We have a PSAR break. This now becomes, after that sharp sell-off, a supported spring crossing pattern. We buy the PSAR flip. We use a standard risk box. It moves briefly in our favor. But rolls over. The PSAR flips. We take this short position here, standard risk box. So that third trade is basically a scratch. The second trade was a scratch. So we're back on the short side. That moves in our favor. At this hesitation, it had an opportunity to come up and hit the PSAR, but it did not. It rolled over and began to fail to a new low of the day. There's 1 unit of reward or risk. There's 2 units of reward. So at the 2R battle drill, we add that second position. And we get a marginal fractional increase here on that position. So that's about a total of 3R. 2.5 from the first position, about half an R on that one. So now we're about 8R into the win. And we call that a day because it's the afternoon. Sniper trade of the day. This was in Clean Energy ETF PBW. This is the 30-minute charts on SPY. So that's a 5-day look back. Here's the 10-day. This is our 1-day move here. Continuing to close weekly below this support level. equal with this support level. If this breaks tomorrow, look out below to the 10-day low, all the way back possibly to 370. Disappointing. Now looking at 30 days on daily charts, here's our 5-day look back, 10-day, 30-day. Here's our 1-day move, basically a fail all the way back down, and is now testing the supporting PSAR around 392. Again, if this breaks, there's nothing that holds it back from 376. It takes a breakout above 400 to make it interesting. It has to get above 410 to be sign of new strength. So we are in a very critical state here. This is the 150-day look back, 5-day, 10-day, 30-day, 60, 90, 120, 150, double bottom. We're now testing this support level at the PSAR. This entire move is now at risk. This got rejected and is all the way back, so that's no good. And again, breaks below 392 and 376 is in play. Quick look at our sectors. Baseline S&P was down 1.4 today. Diamonds down 1.05. The Russell down 1.5. The Qs were worst at minus 2%. Emerging markets weren't bad at minus 0.13. Treasuries up 1.29, closing at 106.95. Tesla was off 1.5. Let's take a look at the upside. A nice big cluster of sectors here: real estate, materials, finance, lumber, the other lumber, agriculture, staples, Aussie dollar, and wheat and precious. So that's all between minus 1% and minus 0.2. The next cluster: lithium, Simon Property Group, that's commercial real estate, Mexico, and Bitcoin, up to 0.76. Brazil was solid today at 1.6. The VIX 3%. You'll notice that the metals were very good today. There's Alcoa, U.S. Steel, and Cliff, all between 2 and 4%. So the metals, like we talked about yesterday, were solid. Everything else pretty bad. Let's check the downside. Again, the S&P off 1.4. You have discretionary and blended commodities off 1.6. Ethereum 2%. Tech and the FANGs 2.14, 2.3. Uranium, biotech, oil exploration between 2.5 and 2.77. ARC Genomics 3%. Oil 3.7. ARC Innovation and Clean Energy 4 and 4.5%. Marijuana giving back 12.8%. So all the joy of the previous 2 days evaporated in one day. Individual companies: Rivian and Coinbase off 5.5 and 7. Here's the semiconductors: NVIDIA, Intel, and Texas Instruments, all below the market and below tech. So the semis were bad as a sector, with NVIDIA especially giving up the ghost. Squarespace, Robinhood, Apple, Microsoft, PayPal. So most of our individual companies well below the baseline of the S&P. This is broad weakness on what had been the market leaders on the last move up. So this is not a good sign for the market short term. Quick look for the market traders today. Satya on Coinbase takes the OR3 short, covers, re-enters, gets paid. 3.2R, very nicely done. Here's Nolan in Apple. He notes he brings in 0.8 today on these two trades. Find the movers. As he notes, the PSAR flip mover is 5R. and outperforms this discretionary trade by 5.8. So there's the PSAR flip. It breaks. This is also a key break here. You could add a second position and then cover approximately there. That'd have been over 5R. So find the mover, trust the PSAR. This is Salesforce. Here's the OR3. It monkeys around a little bit. It reverses up. I like this entry long, but when after those bars it starts to fail, you could get out here at the edge of the dragon when this, because you're already underwater that much, or when it comes out of the dragon here. Exiting here gives you the full 1R loss. There's no reason to take that. You could get out at a scratch at the edge of the dragon at the break of the dragon. This is a good short, but again, when you're this much in the good, to give back most of it and only keep that little piece and give back that much, especially after an R loss, is painful. That keeps you out of the zero state and causes you to miss the PSAR flip and the COTA 2 and the COTA 2 and the COTA 2. This is a winning trade all the way to the PSAR flip. Notice that the R10 did not come through the dragon. So even if this gets you out, that should get you back in. And then here's your next PSAR flip. This is a mover, but that's the weakest part of the move there after that first good leg is already in place. Again, I like that one, but we got to cut it short and then go. We're in a bearish market, and we got to respect that downside move. Tesla, +1. I like the PSAR flip long, quick reverse, good scratch, COTA 2 reentry. That's excellent work. Excellent work. +1R all the way, good to go. This is a swing trade in Ulta Beauty. Don't know the symbol, but I love this short position here on this collapsing of support. Our target would be down here. If it breaks below 445, you could add a second position. Just notice the PSAR flip and the COTA 2 on the long side all the way up. This is one that's definitely in play. This has had such a nice run up that the sell-off back to 440 and then 400 is certainly possible. Here is Constantine with our prop trader with the gold US dollar. He's noticing, on the 5-minute chart, there is the rollover. That's the rollover that he sees here. On the 1-hour chart, on the 5-minute chart, there's his PSAR flip. There's his short. He brings it back up into here and cashes at the PSAR. It rolls over. It gives him a lower high, and he takes the crossing of the dragon on the downside. That is a COTA 2 all day, and he picks up a total of 5R on that series of 2 trades. Very nice. Here's one on Silvergate. This is a company that was heavily into FTX. You can see that they're just getting murdered. This is all Heikin-Ashi charts. This failure to break now becomes the short. That's what it looks like over here. And he's got a nice entry to the downside. More pain and suffering on their way. No hope in sight for them. Medical properties, again, another. I'm liking these because of this weakness in the market, that the potential for, now that it's broken here, the bottom of support 1150 is in sight, and those are all looking pretty good. Here's ExxonMobil from Tim. I like this short. He covers it after 1-2, and he just wants to get paid. That's nice. I like the PSAR breakout, the quick exit, and then the stop and reverse here at the PSAR flip crushes this. I'd have been tempted to get out like at a 1-2-3 there, or at the edge of the dragon, but still, this is about as you're going to get about the same exit here. That's nice. The re-entry short. It was unfortunate we couldn't capture some of this. That's a good scratch, and that's a quick getting paid. So he's about half an hour to the good. Might be a little more aggressive capturing those gains. The metals were tough to trade today, even though they were up. There just wasn't much room. That short failed, then the stop and reverse covered. So he's down about one. There just wasn't much of a mover in there today. If you're not getting that early break on the gap and go, then there just wasn't much follow through here at all. Not much to do about that. Here is a 5-minute chart on Snap from Eugene. That's about as Z3P and sideways quiet channel as you want. Here's the break. He waits for the MMRB break below that, gets short. There's 3R in hand, covers, then a quick scratch, ends up totaling about 3R. Very nice work, opportunity trading. This is Kyun. There was not much. I like that long. I like this. I would like to see the stop and reverse happen here instead of here, but that's getting paid. That's nice. There just wasn't much room in here. I don't blame you for not getting that one. And a quick scratch, so makes a little bit of bank. Apple on this rollover and weakness in the market, we got to be able to get that trade. Maybe the stops are too tight, I think. And even this one pays off on that second Kata 2 short. That one would actually pay off if you get an exit somewhere around in here. That's maybe 1 or 2R. So he gets 1.5, but there was a potential of 5, so he's taking a look at the tightness of his trailing stop. All right, we'll shift to the to the daily reports. All right, so dashboard number 1. We're now into bearish quiet. It won't stay there long. It's going to start getting volatile. You can see the weakness on the 2 and the 10-day lookbacks. The risk Z is starting to roll over. It's still risk on, but it's not abnormally advantageous. So this is starting to feel like this failure to follow through, and some increasing volatility ahead. That would not be surprising. Procter, Merck, McDonald's, Coke, those are all staples. Tesla, the energies are weak right now. And Disney's just getting slaughtered. In the Dow, had some weakness in here on Chevron and Disney. Disney is especially weak right now. The first couple cracks in Verizon and Walmart, that's a disturbing sign when Walmart's starting to suffer. Handful of 5DDs, 5 of them. Those are worth taking a look at. Chevron, American Express, Goldman, Intel, and Verizon. So there's some real weakness in the market creeping in. All right, here's our ETFs. Handful of auto framers. Some breakdowns here in energy and finance and oil exploration. And this is that clean energy PBW is just so weak that that's a clear target to me for continued weakness. They can only survive on government subsidies, and there doesn't seem to be any appetite for that anytime soon with the lame duck Congress. So, I think that one should be a priority on the short side for us. Standard framing for the auto framer and the daily squeezes. I'll leave that to your attention. Shifting to the snipers, starting to get a lot more Godzillas here. NRG is a raging Godzilla, as is BXP. And then in the tactical symbol set, Tesla is a Godzilla. Has to be one of your short-term priorities. The one-day movers in the S&P, you have a bunch that are above 2 sigma to the upside. NRG was just especially volatile today, deserves your close attention. I would also say these three, the double greens, worthy of looking at them. And let's see. Yeah, this one, the multi-time frame index, just shows the tail of the tape, just how much weakness there is in this market, with very few things showing any strength. Those are your metals and a couple pharmaceuticals. Really, utilities were the only sign of strength besides treasuries to speak of. This is a pretty grim warning for the days ahead. All right, that's everything we got for tonight. We'll get this published and posted. Thanks for your kind attention.